What's up everybody, Couchmills here, coming at you with a brand new Halo Infinite video. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down Halo Infinite Ranked, because a lot of people are confused about what Ranked is, how to rank up. How do you know if you're in a good rank or a bad rank? What are the different modes and tips and tricks involved? There's a lot we got to talk about if you want to dominate the ranked mode already and climb to the highest rank. So let's break it all down, but you got to smash that like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the news and guides that we're going to have on this Halo Infinite channel. The launch went amazing and the game is so freaking fun. So smash that like and subscribe and let's get started. So I've basically no-lifed Halo for like the past 12 hours at this point. So I want to break down everything that you need to know about ranked in Halo. So there's going to be a ranked queue, and there's two distinct types of ranked queue. There's the open, which is going to be cross-play, and you can queue with any amount of teammates, up to 3 other teammates for 4v4. And of course, this game mode is going to favor teamwork and communication a lot more than the other game mode, the solo duo game mode, but it's probably the most competitive game mode, the open version, because it puts PC and console players together, just like they'll be playing in the pro scene. Next up, we got to talk about solo duo, which is going to be separated into 2 categories, the controller and the mouse and keyboard. Notably, controller on PC is going to be put in the same solo duo category, so controller on PC and controller on console are playing together, and mouse and keyboard get their own separate queue. This is going to be a lot more individual based. If you don't have a big group to play with, you will probably have more fun playing solo duo. Now, there are quite a few ranks, so let's break them down. So it starts off with bronze, goes to silver, then gold, then platinum, then diamond, and then the final rank is onyx. Now, all ranks go from 1 to 6 until onyx, and these are all the ranks in the game. So you have to go from bronze 1, climb all the way through the bar, get to bronze 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can finally get to silver rank. Now, how much your bar goes up and down is going to be dependent on quite a few things. Your individual impact, or how much you carried or didn't do anything that game, how much your rank or MMR is reflected in the lobby. For example, I placed the highest in my 4 stack, but I didn't really play with them until after I placed. That being said, after we played, I gained the least amount for my wins because I was the highest out of our 4. This means that the average rank of the enemy team was less than my rank, so if I won, I didn't gain as much as my teammates who were at the lower rank, but I could overcome that depending on the amount of impact I had. So it's a little bit complicated in that sense. Basically, I placed D1, and then after a few hours, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours of grinding, I made it to D2, and the majority of those were actually wins. I think we had like 5 wins and 1 loss or something like that. Maybe it was 6 wins. But that being said, unfortunately, I DC'd twice in my placements and couldn't rejoin, and on top of that, I DC'd twice when I was grinding today. So those actually made me lose 25% of my bar that I had to actually grind back for a win. And after I DC'd, when we played another game and we won, I didn't gain back all that I DC'd. It's a little bit frustrating, but as a tip to you, try to make sure that you don't alt tab when you're playing in ranked specifically, because that's what I found created all the crashes I was having, and it didn't let me back into any of the games, so it can be pretty frustrating. And if you just loaded into the game and you still disconnect, your game crashes, you're still going to be put in that game, but you can't rejoin it, and then you're going to eat a giant amount of loss if you lose, and you're probably going to, because it's 3v4. Now, next up, let's talk about the game modes, because there's 4 distinct ones. I wanted to talk about what the core objectives are, what are some tips and tricks that you need to think about when playing them, and just a big summary of how to play each mode. So first off is capture the flag. Now, a lot of people play capture the flag incorrectly because of how you play it in big team battle, where things are chaotic and you can kind of protect the president. Typically, the best way to play capture the flag as you climb the ranks is going to be team fight oriented. And what do I mean by that? Well, specifically, oftentimes you're going to have complete team fights when you are playing capture the flag, where 4v4 are going to fight or 3v3 are going to fight. And oftentimes, as the flag holder, you're going to want to ditch the flag and win the team fight with your team. If you can wipe the enemy team and force them into spawn, you're going to have plenty of time to grab that flag and bring it back. You don't want to be running down with 1 flag while 3 of your teammates try to fight 4 enemy teammates, because you're going to lose that fight because you're basically down in a numbers disadvantage. So if you actually just win the team fight outright as a full 4v4, you can win the fight, grab the flag, and then pursue the capture. That's the best way to win capture the flag, but it's gonna matter less and less depending on the rank you are. Also, you could just frag everybody at the low ranks, and it doesn't really matter how you play it. It's still team fight winning, but you're doing it yourself. Next up is Slayer. The big thing about Slayer is not just seeking kills, it's actually about KD. you want to have the most amount of impact kills with the least amount of deaths. That's very important. Doesn't matter if you have 20 freaking kills, if you have 25 freaking deaths, you're actually being a huge liability to your team, allowing the enemy to get a lot of trades or picks on you. It's very important to try to value your life here. Do damage. If you can communicate, do it. If you can't, that's fine. But most importantly, you just need to really value your life. Try to get little pickoffs here and there without getting killed with no value. And if you can get that kill and get away, that's the best thing possible. Next up, we got to talk about strongholds. These are going to be central locations that you have to capture, A, B, and C. So oftentimes, this is going to turn into a battle to actually contest the power weapons. There are some power weapons that will completely change the fights over these strongholds. Specifically, I had one game where we just got completely stomped because we didn't contest the central location, and the enemies kept on securing the rocket launcher. And while that only has 2 shots in the multiplayer ranked mode, it didn't matter because every time we would try to contest, if we actually tried to stack the point, the rocket launcher would typically get 2 of us, and it would overwhelmingly turn the team fight in their favor, and it was very difficult to cap. It would be far better if we would have contested that midpoint, contested that rocket launcher, and then actually had a chance to win the round. Very important that you do not devalue the power of these power weapons, because you could completely win a fight and then just lose out of nowhere to a power weapon after you tried so hard and invested so many bodies into trying to take control. Last up, my personal favorite is oddball. Now, specifically, if you have the oddball and enemies are rushing down to you, you can play towards the edge of the map, because if you SD, the oddball is going to get respawned towards the spawn point of the oddball. So you can set up a situation where if enemies want to pursue you and contest the oddball, you can jump off, die, and then one of your teammates can grab the oddball as it respawns. That's a really good strategy. Also, oddball is typically going to be team fight oriented. However, you can use the oddball in a pinch to fight off enemies. It has a very fast re-melee time. So technically, if you get in a melee fight with an enemy, you could hit them and hit them again before they can hit you back. But a lot of the time, you're going to want to ditch the oddball and have that 4v4 fight so you don't leave your team in a gun disadvantage. Now, in general, every single mode is going to have you start off with a BR with no secondary. You're going to want to find a secondary ASAP. And of course, we're going to do an in-depth weapon tier list and secondary tier list on this channel. So if you want to see that, make sure you smash the like and subscribe so you know the best weapons to pick as your secondary when you're grinding through ranked. Now, here's a really important tip that a lot of people don't know, and I wanted to make it very clear in this video. Damaged pre-shields do not matter where you hit the enemy. This means that if you have a BR and you're shooting enemies in the head when they have shields, it's going to do the same damage as if you hit them in the body. That being said, if the enemy has no shields, a bullet-based weapon will always kill in the headshot with a single shot. This is the trade-off between energy weapons and bullet weapons, because energy weapons typically drain shields faster, but they're not going to kill as fast because they can't one-tap in the head post actually breaking those shields. But a bullet-based weapon is going to be able to kill them right away. That being said, with the battle rifle, if you hit every single one of your shots onto an enemy, the actual shields will pop with the second bullet in the 4th burst. This means that if you hit, the 4th burst will actually be able to kill and finish off that enemy. But if that 4th burst is a bodied burst, it actually won't kill them. This means that at the very least for that last burst, you should be aiming head level. But realistically, if you can hit your shots, you should be aiming head level the majority of the time, because you never know when one of your teammates is going to help focus fire with you, and that last bullet is going to be worth a lot more damage to be able to just one-tap finish off an enemy that has no shields. Now, honestly, this is just skimming the surface of potential tactics. I haven't even talked about grenades. I haven't talked about weapon builds, map routing, how to learn the map incredibly quickly. Oh yeah, you can ping, by the way, and it tells you what something is if you ping it. You can ping it to your teammates. That's just a random tangent, but there's a lot more that I have to cover. But we're going to be breaking all that down and much more on this channel, so you got to smash that like and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the Halo guides and content, so that you can just climb to the Onyx rank as quickly as possible. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you hydrate, and I'll see you next time.